Welcome, welcome, welcome everybody to the Insiders with Liz and Amber. And today we have an amazing guest. I probably shouldn't even have to introduce her because you're all going to know who she is. She's an amazing, incredible psychic medium who hails out of Sudbury, Ontario. And her name is Miss Jay Lane. She has traveled North America and, alike to have shows and events with folks like James Van Prague. She is a very sought after psychic medium and we are just so pleased to have her on the show today. So without further ado, welcome, Jay.
Thank you very much, Liz. I'm so happy to be here today.
Oh, we're just so happy to have you.
I'm excited.
Yeah. So let's start with, Jay, what would you say the first memory of being a psychic medium or your gifts? What would be the first memory of that coming through for you?
When I was 9. And I think it's the licking I got after we left the grocery store. But when I was 9 years old, we were at a store called Dominions.
So that I remember that.
Oh, yes.
I remember that too.
So we're giving away our age, ladies. But I think at the end of the day, I had gone to this Dominions. I was very young. I was about 9 years old. And my mom and dad were with me. We were at a checkout counter. And there was a woman standing in front of me. And right away, I saw this man just appear out of nowhere. But he, like, just from the waist up, scared the living daylights out of me. And right away, I pulled back and I started to cry and shake. And my mother asked me, what's wrong? And I said, Jerry wants Irene to start eating. And she goes, what are you talking about? And then I started telling her in French, tu ne faut qu'elle mange, and that's like a nickname in French. And the woman turned around and she says, are you talking to me? Because that was her nickname. And her husband, Jerry, had died 3 years before. And the thing is, my dad grabbed me by the collar right away. And when we got home, I got a licking for 3 reasons. One was you don't talk to strangers ever, ever, ever. Number 2, you don't talk like that because people are going to think you're nuts. And number 3, we're going to lock you up in North Bay if you keep on. So for years, I thought North Bay, which is where the psychiatric ward is actually hosted here in Northern Ontario, I actually thought it was a jail for kids like.
Oh,
but that is, when you get a licking, you never forget. That is when I knew that I was different. It was a reminder that I was different, but it also is what taught me to be quiet for a very long time.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. It's funny that you say that taught me to be quiet for a long time, because just today I was thinking to myself, the background I had started out in was medical and then HR operations, right? So all of those industries teach you can't speak out of turn. You can't say this. You can't say that. And so even today, I caught myself saying, whoa, don't say that, Amber. And then I said, no more. I'm not in that space. I don't have to conform. I don't have to be a good girl and say nothing. And so I'm having to open my throat chakra. So tell me about that. How did you actually come about to be able to be where you are today, knowing you had to break from that cycle?
Well, Amber, it's interesting because when I hit about 16 or 17, I started showing off with it a little bit. It's terrible, but it's true, because I didn't have many friends. My mother was Psychic Beatrice. I grew up with a mother who was a practicing professional psychic between 1961 and 1983. And so we had the house full constantly. She did tea leaf readings and she was a really amazing psychic, but she really had taught me, just to be myself, never mind what dad thinks, because we were afraid of dad. And I think dad just did it to protect us, at the end of the day, we grew up knowing that. But really to kind of break out of it was my mother's death that made me decide to come out of my closet. She had always told me, Jay, you come here with nothing, you leave with the same. You need to be happy in what it is that you do. And she says, you're going to help a lot of people with your mediumship. And I said, I'm never going to do this, never. And I quit my job after 22 years of government service to do this professionally. And I had 3 years left, really technically, to retire. you know? So the thing is, I had to follow my heart, but my mother's death had such an impact on my life that it made me realize that you do come here with nothing, you leave with nothing, and you have to be happy now. And really, what people think of you is none of your business. And that was the hardest thing for me to overcome, because my father had been so judgmental with, labeling and different things, and the fear of having to go to jail, at that young age, and different things. So it does play a large part in your life. And it's one of the reasons why I didn't want to do it. I didn't want to be an embarrassment to the family, and everybody in the family kind of knew it, that I did this. But technically, I came out of my closets, after my mother died. And it was the best thing I think that I ever did.
Oh, and she'd be so proud of you. I know she is. I know. I don't even have to say she would. She is so proud. And to follow in her footsteps, to be able to have that good yin yang balance between mom and dad, because both of them are, as we know, our parents are amazing teachers to us. And even when you struggle, some people have, a really tumultuous relationship with their parents, and some people have just the best relationship. And then there's a balance in between. So they really do teach us and help us grow to who we are today.
Yes.
That's awesome.
Yes, I needed that teacher in my life. I needed that father of mine in my life, because the thing is, when I took back my power, I was able to really actually help a lot of people with the pain that I had experienced in my life. So really, it's the best thing that ever happened to me. So I'm thankful to my father today. And he passed when I was 21 years old, but I know he's proud of me, and I know he would encourage me to do this.
Mm-hmm. Oh, absolutely. There's no doubt. And, it's so incredible. I found that too, that all of the challenges that I've ever experienced, the, extremes, ups and downs that I've gone through, have all been beneficial in supporting those that I'm now supporting. So I totally agree with you, Jay.
Yes. Yeah, absolutely. But I'm happy, I have no regrets. It was a tough first year to start, because I just quit my job out of nowhere. The couple of weeks after my mother died, I went in, I said, guess what? I'm quitting here. And she goes, you have to put it in writing. So I took her report, turned it over, and wrote, I quit. See you later. And don't tell anyone I quit. I'm on vacation for 2 weeks. And that's exactly what I did. But I have no regrets. And I miss the girls that I worked with, the people that I worked with, all of them, but I don't miss the work I was doing. I absolutely love what I'm doing now. Even though you do have your challenges, it's a psychic medium, as you well know. I'm happy being who I am.
Yeah, I had a similar experience, because I had to have that moment where I was not wanting to stay out of alignment of myself and be working in industries that weren't really what I needed, or what I needed, needed. And so, but I always thought to myself, how come I had to get 4 different diplomas? How come I had to work in all these places? How come I endured that for so long? And then at the end of the day, the same thing. It does not matter why you chose to do it. You did it the way you needed to do it. And you learned and grew and got to know people that you needed for this experience. Because I can tell you, and anyone else who's coming up as a medium or psychic, you have to have so much life experience, because the people that are coming to you for guidance, support, insight, clarity, they're going to be drawn to you because you have an experience that's similar to their path. Yes. And I'll tell you, all of my friends to date have come to me because of that company, that healthcare company I worked for. My closest, dearest friends, my husband is a result of that job. So wow. He didn't work in there, but my best friend was the person who introduced us, right? So everything always comes to be where you need to be in this moment, right?
I think so too. And I wholeheartedly believe that, all the people on your path are there for a reason.
100%. Like I am sure there are lots of people watching this right now saying, well, my situation growing up has created this conflict for me today, or I'm in challenges today. And if you could just see it from this perspective, none of us, and I'm speaking for all 3 of us, pretty sure, none of us thought we were going to grow up and do this for a living.
No.
No. I mean, it was back in the day, like for all of us, there was like that, fear or shame, or, we felt a lot different from most of the people around us. So, if anybody's watching this and they have that same similar sort of story, just know that when you find your power, when you step into it, it's just so comfortable and it just works. And look at Jay, for example. You know, look at what you've done with your gift. I mean, you travel North America and you've got, well, let's talk about something new.
Yes.
You've got a new show coming up.
You know what? I'm excited because I, signed with management in January. I had gone to New York City to do some shows for APAP, and I had signed with new management there, which is really quite wonderful. And it's actually someone I've known for a while. And I was really surprised because, like, immediately after going to New York, I had an article in Digital Journal come out. And Marcos Papadopoulos, who's like absolutely amazing. I love him. He's a great journalist. And I was surprised because he usually interviews big stars. And I'm thinking, oh my God.
You are a big star.
Well, I don't feel that way though. I'm a Sudbury girl, and I just, what you see is what you get. But it was quite amazing. After my interview, I started getting calls from like huge networks, and my management was putting me in front of like TLC and different types of, ideas for shows. And then coronavirus happened. So we decided to develop our own show. And we met a really wonderful producer, a Canadian producer who has about 13 or 14 shows out, with these big networks, who had approached me about working with me before. And we had tried a couple things, but at the end of the day, we ended up with an agreement between Canada and the US to do this really great show. So it's unscripted, which is really nice. So there's nothing to really practice for, and it's on the road show, which is going to be fun, but it's different. And it's just, I guess, the way that I channel and the people that we interact with. And so it's going to be interesting. So we're going to Toronto to do the shoot, of course, COVID safe. And we're going to do the shoot mid-October, about the 19th or the 20th of October. And from that, we're going to be shopping out a couple of these episodes. I'm really quite excited about that, because the networks are always looking for new material. There's a lot of medium shows coming out there, but this one is really quite unique. So I think it's going to be awesome. So I'm really excited about that.
That is amazing. You have so much coming up, and the show is going to be great because it is actually going to touch people, like humans. It's going to touch them emotionally, spiritually, and so that I'm excited to see it. I'm excited to see what comes of it. And we also have other things that, like, you're a busy lady, because we have the Canadian Mediumship Summit coming up in October as well. The three of us are part of the 6th for that group of some of the most amazing spiritual leaders in Canada. So anybody who's wanting to learn about becoming a medium or expand it, or even just like learn a little bit more, is going to be there. So tell us a little tidbit, just a little sneak peek about what you're going to be talking about at the Canadian Mediumship Summit in October.
I'm really excited because we're doing a couple of days. Of course, we're doing the first night where we're going to be channeling for people and doing all kinds of exciting things. So I'm really super pumped. But during the day, of course, all 6 of us have a different segment. And of course, mine is the last one. So I'm really excited. But, I love to do platform work. Of course, that I toured, with James Van Praagh and different people like that. But I love platform. And platform, of course, could mean so many different things nowadays, especially with the way things are going, with the way our lives have changed. And, people that want to expand their mediumship just to that point, starting to work with larger groups, starting to hold, different types of meetings, doing larger group events online or even in person, how to kind of do that. I am the queen of burnout because I do a lot of shows. And when I go on a run, I do 11 shows in a row, come home and fall on my face. So I've learned all about mediumship burnout and the things and the challenges that go along with that. So we're going to be talking about burnout, how to center yourself, how to kind of get that what people think of you is none of your business attitude, and get people a little bit more comfortable with their gifts and with empowering themselves to be confident when they're doing this type of work. So I'm super excited about my segment. It's going to be some great Q&As after for people that have these challenges. And, someone said, can I become a medium just by learning? And I tell people, you have to have the sense of it. But if you think you've got a little click of it, there's nothing wrong with checking this out because, you know, I like when Lisa was speaking, for instance, I was really impacted by the way she explained what she was going to be doing. And I'm so excited that I want to listen to her segments. I
Me
such
too.
amazing gifted speakers. And I'm really super pumped about it. But that's what I'm going to be doing. And, you know, I'm very thankful for it.
Oh God, I'm so excited. So I'm just before you, and my topic is all about how do you get out of your head? Like how, we all have been there where we're like, okay, did I just get that? Is that my thought? Is that your thought? Did I know that? Or some of those obstacles that we have of ourselves, and we're thinking, oh my God, I am not saying that out loud because I am going to just look crazy or sound crazy. So, so my topic just before you is all about, you know, identifying common obstacles, releasing some of that you know urge to really get in our head and really listen to what spirit is saying to us, and then going from there. And Liz, what are you talking about? Because we have so
Yeah, so
much.
like when we all got together and discussed what we're going to be talking about, like you, Jay, I'm so excited to watch all of you guys and see what you have to teach, because I'm like, wow, this is going to be so great. I'm going to be talking about shifting from left brain to right brain, becoming receptive to the spirit world, establishing a connection, maintaining your power, you know, meeting people where they are working with spirit, and helping them to get the answers that they're needing. So it's going to be a really exciting hour. I can't wait. Like, I'm
Yeah,
so
you know,
excited.
oh
Me
my
too.
gosh, you know, everybody is bringing such value. We have designed this course because it is a course, right,
It
ladies?
is.
Like at
Yeah,
the end of
yeah.
it, we give you a certificate. We are each doing, I think each of us have decided to do some sort of interactive experience or something as well. And then also we have, so Jay, you alluded to Lisa Scrivens
Yes.
and Mary Ann Kennedy and
Yes.
Jackie Dennison as well. So this six of us will be there. So yeah, if you want to hang out, we're doing the readings on Friday night and the mediumship classes on Saturday, and all the information I'll post it too for us as well. But I'm just so happy to work with all of you, and I will be tuning into each and every one of the segments.
Me
I'm
too.
really excited about Jackie as well. I'm a huge fan. I
Yeah.
have been following Jackie Dennison for years. I was a big rescue medium fan because I love the way that they did what they did, you know, going into the house and investigating and talking to people, doing the historical research and tying everything together. And her
Mhm.
art and just the similarities with the, you know, oh, she's just so amazing. So I'm super pumped. I mean, I just really pumped to work with every one of you. So
And you know what? She, among all of you, are so genuine, and we have similar, you know, experiences of how we kind of either like resisted the urge to come out and join into this industry. But I'm so glad each of you did, because you're bringing such a beautiful touch. And this just proves there is room to collaborate. There is room to work together. There's room to support each other. And this is why I love it. I strive for empowering other women and supporting each other. And just whole thing makes me so excited.
you know what? It does. And I'm glad that you mentioned that. Like a lot of people say, Jay, why are you referring me to another medium? I know I've referred people to Liz, to yourself.
Yeah.
Even my
Yes.
husband has had a reading with you, you know, Amber, because the thing is, it's hard for me to do a reading for my own husband because I already know what's going on. But the relief and the thing is, you know, is to be open-minded about that. There are so many gifted people out there that have so much to offer. And I may not be able to do it for somebody, but maybe Liz can or you can. And I'm so thankful for that. So I'm glad that this collaboration is happening. We have like top mediums with a lot of experience, and I think this is going to be amazing.
Yeah.
I agree. I agree, ladies. I mean, the whole collaboration thing. I think when I first started out in this industry, it seemed to be very closed. Like you didn't really connect with others because there was that, you know, stay back from me. These are my clients. And I mean, I did the circuit, you know, the psychic fairs, right?
Yes.
So that kind of really bothered me because I'm a very share kind of girl. Like I want to make sure everybody has a piece, and there's enough business to go around for everybody there's no need to not collaborate. And this fact that we are getting together in just this capacity, I know there's going to be more. There's going to be more for us. I already know that. But it's, I know, right? We got a secret. So yeah, there's going to be more, but it's just so incredible. So if you are a lone psychic or medium out there, connect with others like yourself. You will have that group that you've been desperately seeking your whole life, that you wanted to connect with. It makes life so much better. It really does.
Yeah, you know, when I first started out, I didn't know much about who was out there because even back then, a decade ago, it was still kind of under the radar, like just starting to kind of come up. So if you knew the neighbor who said, "Hey, did you hear from so and so from this part of the town?" you might be able to get it. Otherwise, you didn't really know. And I do want to give a shout out to Kathy Upper of Spiritual Niagara, because in our area here, she has made a profound impact because she was one of those people who was like, I need someone. Where do I go? I can't go and knock on every door to find out if they know the person down the street. So thankfully for humans like her, and especially her, she has brought together everybody so you can see who's available and who's here. And the people that are joining into those types of groups of people are really working with each other. Like I know all of us had the chance or opportunity at one point, whether it worked out or not, to be part of her shows and her women's empowerment speaking engagements and clarity and go withins. And she's always with her group creating new stuff. But what I was going to say was back then I didn't know. So I kept to myself, and I actually, you know, for all of you trying to start this on your own too, you might feel this way. It might resonate because I stayed away from other people. I didn't want to be influenced by, you know, I'm just going to say randomly a Beverly or a Jackie or a Janie or a whoever, because I wanted to know who Amber Price was. So I spent the first little bit really focusing on what is it I can do? Like, what is my ability? And then I started reading the books and connecting to the Kathy Uppers of the world and you beautiful souls. And so you will really know intuitively when you're supposed to connect. And I will tell you this, you won't want to connect to everybody. So use your intuition to know who do you feel drawn to and who don't you, and use your guide like that. I don't know. What do you girls think?
I always go with what my gut tells me and who I feel comfy with. Usually my gut leads me to the right place, but I feel the same way. I need to be attracted to it. It's like when I'm working with gemstones, I need to, oh, I want to work with this today. And it's funny, I'll pick something maybe for abundance, and everybody that comes to see me that day is all about abundance, you know.
Yes.
There's different things. So I just, and spirit always gives you what you need to know. So you'll see different things during the day in your experiences. And I keep mental, you know, then I start mentioning it to people that go, that's funny. You know, I did that today too. Yeah. So you really have to pay attention to spirit, but I totally agree with you. Yes.
Yeah, I do too. It's amazing how I totally relate to what you're saying, Jay, about how you get themes, like patterns start to evolve. And that's a good indicator for me working with my team that I'm on the right page. Like, okay, this is the theme for today. So it's an interesting way it plays out. But I agree with you, Amber. That makes a lot of sense how you you know, you do want to hang out on your own at first. I remember being, you know, I think I would classify myself as a shy person in the beginning. I think I'm actually an introvert stuck in an extroverted world. So I force myself to be present and do stuff like this. I'm not a huge fan of it, but I'm not deathly afraid of it anymore either. Like I was actually deathly afraid of being on camera, to the point of choking. Like, I don't know what to say anymore. So this is, you know, life moves on and evolves and we get better at stuff. And so just like your psychic ability and your mediumship, it will evolve and get better and stronger. But collaborating with folks is definitely a strength, strength for sure.
But you know, when you say that, it's true. But sometimes like you can use your quirkiness or your, like, for instance, you know, I used to sing years ago. I was in a band, this, that. So I never had any stage fright. but I was never a good actress either. You know what I mean? So if someone put me in a play, it's like, oh my God, forget about it.
Yeah.
But the very first time I did a show, someone said, Jay, you got to do this show for me. And I was like, what are you talking about? Because I'd never been in front of more than 5 or 6 people. And they said, well, you just have to go. There's going to be 50 in there. 50 people? Are you crazy? I can't do that. They said, yeah, you can do it. You can do it. I said, what do I have to do? They said, well, just go out there and you tell people what you're hearing. I said, I can do that. Okay. So when I went out there were 750 people.
What? That is bad math.
Oh, I just started crying.
They almost had to close the place down because they were over capacity. And the firefighters that are selling their calendars were there and they're going, okay, you got to quit letting people in. But it was a huge, and I thought, oh my God. And everybody loved it so much. When they asked me to do it a second time, I said, okay. They had 1,100 people. So I'm thinking, oh my God, like, so I got to do this. But that's what prompted me to do it, because I thought if I can have an effect on so many people like that in one room, a lot of people can get closure. I thought, well, geez, that's a good thing. So that's kind of where I went. But it was about a year after I started doing readings. I would have never thought in a million years that you put me in front of 1,200 people at a show.
Right.
I was doing that for a living. There's no way.
Amazing. You know, do you find, Jay, doing platform work that, and I think you kind of alluded to it, but I find it is that you get groups of people sitting together that have similar loved ones on the other side?
Yeah, you do, you do, but you trim the fat. I remember there was one show where I said, there's a man that's coming through that had his left lung, half of the left lung removed. 2 people raised their hands.
Wow.
Okay. So I said, okay. I said, this guy talks about Joe, December, and the number 21. Both of them raised their hands and they're, oh my God. So I said, who lost the baby on April 15th? One kept the hand up. Okay.
Yes.
So I went to her. I told her what they had for supper, what they ran out of gas at 20 after 7 the night before. I had told them all of this very, very detailed stuff. There's like 700 people there. The lady comes to meet me after the show and said, that reading was for me. And I said, oh, could you relate to the spaghetti dinner where you're picking out the green pepper? She goes, no. I said, did you run out of gas at 7:20 last night? No, but that was for me. But it wasn't for her, you see? And the thing is, she couldn't relate to these very specific, and where these people going, oh my God, I can't believe it, I ran out of gas. So I knew it was them. Now, what I did to make her feel better is spirits do come in similarly. So, when you're channeling heart attacks or you're going to get 5, 6 moving forward, but it's the loudest ones for me that speak. And so when you start trimming and you start giving details, or you're telling person, listen, this guy says he died at 2 minutes before noon. That's my husband.
Mm-hmm.
So right away, but that's what I depend on. And it's the loudest ones. So that's why I'm all over the place. It's another reason why I don't like assigned seating.
Mm-hmm.
I'd rather have people sit where they want. And then for me, I feel comfortable with that, but it's interesting. You have to trim it down. You have to be very evidential, like, especially in shows like that, you have to be very specific. Otherwise people think you're just pulling straws,
So I have to share this with everybody because, was it last September? So about a year ago, just before I went on vacation, the last thing I did was head to Hamilton to introduce you and James Van Prague at the Hamilton show on your tour last year. And so we were talking in the green room, or whatever room it was. It was not actually green, so I'm not sure where we go with that. But anyway, a green room.
They call it, but it's not.
Yes. And so we're talking and chatting, and we're getting ready, and we're like, okay, how are we going to say this? When is it going to happen? And then I said, well, who's going to tell me to go out? Who's going to say? So we're sitting there, and I thought to myself, I was like, I am just dying for my Kit Kat. I didn't get to eat it because we were so rushed to get in. And it was particularly that day, it was a thunderstorm. Like, it was pouring like you've never seen before. And so I'm thinking the whole time, I wish I had ate that Kit Kat before, because I didn't. Anyways, we get up there, I introduce, we're going, I sit back in my seat, I'm sitting down, I whisper to my mother, I'm like, do you have the Kit Kat? And so she says, you're not eating that right now. Just pay attention, pay attention, Amber. You get up and you're giving a reading and you start talking about all of this. And then what do you say? first I said, all those things she just said, that sounds like me, but I'm not saying anything because it can't be, because she's standing over there. And you say, you just had a Kit Kat. And I almost died. I was like, oh my God, she knows I'm eating the Kit Kat. I am not saying anything. And so it was so funny because I was like just about to raise my hand and then say, okay, Jay, like, look, like you've got A, B, C, D, and E, right? And you busted me. I ate the Kit Kat. But what I loved about that is that almost everybody, you could tell them what they ate.
Yes.
When they did their hair, or did they have a different shirt on and they planned to wear something different, but you were specific. Did you have a red and black polka dot shirt on before you put this one on? And then she was like, yes, because nobody knew that except her. So why I'm sharing this experience was, one, I thought you were right in my head because I was like trying to get this Kit Kat and I was called out. But two, you were able to tell people what they ate, what they were wearing, and you are specific. And I do want to share with the listeners, because that is part of it, right? Ladies, like, you have to kind of keep getting more specific information about people so that you know you're giving the message to the right person. And there's the opposite, where it might continue to be at the end of the whole thing, everything you're saying, and it's happened to me, every single thing I had said matches the two families. Everything. They lost this, they had this, they lived here, they grew up over here. And so I had to say at the end, take what you need from this, because there's a reason you two are here today together, or that you're best friends or whatever, because it is that journey that gets you here together.
It's true.
Yeah.
So true.
Fascinating.
Yeah. I really enjoyed that show. It was fun.
It was so fun. It was so fun. And you know what? Both you and James had a great sense of humor. So both of you were able to kind of connect and emotionally get their like personalities. So the souls. And I love that, because that's one of the things that I do as well as Liz, right? You get their personality, and
Yes.
it's so great.
Yes. I think that what floored me about that show was the woman that ate the French fries at 2:30. I said, you had French fries at 2:30. And the woman said, what did I have? Is there anyone around me? And I said, you had waffles. She went, oh my God, I had waffles at 2:30. And it was hilarious because I didn't expect to talk to her, but I could see what she was eating.
Yeah.
So I had to say it, but they were floored. It was kind of fun. I love it.
I love spirit.
Fascinating. So for the viewers, Jay, can you
Yeah.
explain, is that how is spirit showing you that they were present for that? And
Yeah.
is it like in your third eye, or
They're
like,
always around. So for instance, I remember I was talking to a celebrity one morning and she was in England, and I told her, I said, you know what? I said, your lion on the left side when you go into your yard the face is busted. I said, you're gonna have to get that fixed. She goes, what are you talking about? Till the next day it happened. And so the thing is, I guess I was seeing it before it was happening, but I could see it. I could see someone taking a metal rod and hitting it. And I'm thinking, oh my God, the face looks all busted on this big line. And so she said, first thing is, how'd you know I have lions at the end of my driveway? And I said, well, I don't know that, but I'm seeing two lions, I said, they look like almost like Egyptian lions, almost, how they have their paws off the cement. And she goes, yeah, I have that. But she goes, Jay, there's nothing wrong with them. And then when she called me the next day, she was flipping out. But it was quite impactful. So I see them, or I taste something right away. It's like, ugh, you had bad chicken yesterday at around 7 o'clock. They go, how do you know that? I didn't put that on Facebook. So, but I mean, spirits see, and I work with consciousness. So I just tap into that person's conscious being, and that's where subconscious being, and that's where they live. So that's what I see. They just show me through their eyes what they see. And then I'm able to tell that person what I see. That's how I find bodies.
Right. Yeah. So I do the same for that too, for body location. Yeah. And it makes me see the space or see an identifying factor. And because I do that for all over the world, as well as you two do, right? So we do that, and you may not have gone to that space. So you can't say, okay, when you turn down Kaler Road, turn left at this, you have to almost get those big identifying things like, oh, it's near an army base, or it's near the big lake that's called, Swan Lake or whatever. So you can kind of get that. And it is that image in your mind's eye that you see, for me anyways, you see that vision that gets you closer so that they can identify that they know the area.
Yeah, exactly. But yeah, it's I just see it, or I
Yeah.
just know it, and I don't know why I know. Like I'll be sitting beside someone, and right away I just know stuff about them, and I'm sure you get the same. So
Mm.
yeah, yeah,
Yeah, so for the listeners too, the clairvoyance is what we're referring to when we say that we can see. So
yeah,
that's the clairvoyance. And then when Jay just said that she just knows, that's claircognizance. So
yeah,
if you've ever heard of the clairs, these are the types of
yeah.
experiences you might have.
I call them clairsentient too, like
Yes.
just the knowing of kind of things. There's so many different clairs, and they have all these new terms now: clairtangency, clairgustance, like hear, see, sense, smell.
Yes.
Taste,
Your
sometimes.
senses.
You're basically tapping into all of the above,
Yes,
right?
Yeah.
exactly.
Your information. And
Yeah,
I think that for the average person who can't understand that, it's because they're so focused on their natural, like on their sight and their hearing, and they're not paying attention to what's going on up here in their mind's eye or their inner knowing. A lot of times people will avoid trusting that, right? Like they'll avoid it. And I'm always telling people, trust your inner thoughts, your inner instincts, your inner knowing, because 99% of the time it's correct.
I think, and Liz, that's a good point, but I think like when I was younger, I tried to figure out how I can do this. Like, why is it that I know who's on the phone? Why is it? And like, I was young, right? I told my mom, grandma's calling, ding, the phone would be grandma. And how do you know that? So the thing is, I spent so much time wasting my time trying to figure out, how am I doing this? How do I depend that this is real? You know what? You just got to trust it. You write it down, you got to trust it, and you just have to say it. And the thing is, I think that's where the confidence comes in with the job. You know what I mean? And just trusting what you're seeing, hearing, or sensing, because it's scary to tell somebody stuff like that, especially if you're not sure. And that's where you build that confidence. But I find the more you do it, the more open you are to it. And you know that as well as I. You two are wonderful psychic and mediums, So the thing is, and you have a wonderful business around it, and you help so many people with it, you have to be. But I think it's that guessing, when you're kids and you're going into this, like, how the hell do I do that? And I used to spend so much time on that I wasted a lot of time helping people. And that's why I tell people, never mind how, like why and what's happening to me and how do I control. You can't control it. It's either there or it's not. You can learn to ignore it. That's it. Yeah.
So true.
Yeah.
Trust is the number one factor.
It is.
And that goes for everybody, whether you have gifts or not. Trust is, and I think people get trust wrong. And I don't know, you guys, some of your thoughts on this, but we often think that we need to learn to trust others or have trust through others in order to have them around or to connect with them. But that's the big part of being intuitive, is trusting your inner self.
That's
and
right.
if you can learn to trust your inner self, then trusting others is a non-issue, because you're going to trust what you know about them anyway.
Yeah.
So, makes sense?
Absolutely, you're right. 100 million%. And it's true. If you don't trust yourself, you shouldn't be doing readings.
Mm-hmm.
Should not.
Yeah.
And you have to be sensitive to people too. That's another thing. That's where Amber said a little earlier about having that life experience and going through these things so that you can help guide others in a positive way,
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Wow. So, I guess we should also, talk about anything else that's coming up for you, Jay, that's exciting that we should know about.
Well, I've been doing a lot of Sirius XM radio. And so I've been doing a lot of that. I had a couple of interviews last month. I think I have 4 more coming up. I do announce them on my page, my official page. And they're just basically just doing readings for, just as a guest on different shows. So I'm super pumped about that. And again, like just doing this series. We have the Halo Awards coming up, of course, where I'm the guest reader. So I'm really excited about that. And then, of course, this summit. And then I'm also working on other things around suicide. because just recently I've been getting a lot of suicide letters. On the average, I get about 8 to 12 a year. This year with COVID, I've already received, I think, 97. And so,
Wow.
yeah, a lot of people wanting permission to die or to kill themselves, or finding out what happens after you die if you commit suicide. And so I thought of doing something around that. I did do a video on dying alone with COVID. And then I do have some stuff on suicide and a book that I've written, an ebook that I have about death and the afterlife. But suicide has really gotten to me because there's way too much of it. Pandemics don't last forever, And the thing is, people are not finding alternative ways of trying to relieve that stress. So they're thinking that dying is the easy way out. And it's unfortunate because, they're breaking these agreements, and they're really essentially hurting the families around them as well as themselves, is to get them the help that they need. And so I'm trying to get some resources together for suicide hotlines. I'm trying to get some different people resources together so that I could do some proper referrals, because sometimes it's hard. Like, what do you answer these people? No, you can't kill yourself, because I don't want to hear that. But they're reaching out, and how could I not, respond to that? But also I have to keep in mind that I'm not a health professional. I'm not a doctor. I can't give advice in those areas. All I could do is support them spiritually with what I believe, they should do, or how I could guide them to get a little bit better. But that has been a big thing for me. And I'm worried about people. So I want to do something to help in those areas. So that's kind of what I've been working on the side. I was supposed to do a summit on it, and I had some great people lined up that I've helped over the years with these issues. But that's kind of what I'm working on the side. And of course, other little things that you know about.
Yeah.
But,
Well, it's interesting that you brought up the suicide thing, because that is, people do reach out to us and
yes.
want to understand life after death, and
Yes.
what does the suicide mean. And, I've talked to a number of people off the shelf as well. And it's quite, like you said, you're not a professional therapist, but my belief is that they're finding you, Jay, because they know their soul knows that your soul can support them.
Well, I've talked about it. I've done blogs and
Yeah.
vlogs, and I've written a lot about suicide, broken agreements. And I don't want people to feel bad about these things. I just want them to be educated so that they can make an informed decision whether they want to end their life or not. A lot of people are now doing, the injections, the different, like the self, I forget, like
the assisted dying.
yeah, the assisted death, exactly. So sorry, I couldn't find my words there. But the thing is, it changes the perspective on a lot of things, and people are feeling guilty about leaving their families behind. And so I, try to guide them to celebrate their life, rather, because they're going to go anyways, but it's to give them that comfort. And so I'm trying to find some info, or trying to get some stuff together for those types of people too, because there needs to be that. Even abortion is a huge subject that I get a lot of, sometimes you get hate mail in this job. But the thing is, I'm too wanting to help people release them from their grief from that, because I believe that these types of things are, they're meant to happen, you know what I mean, in a sense. So the thing is, I want to help people through their pain and let them get rid of that guilt. But the suicide is a big one for me, I gotta tell you.
Yeah. I attended a mental health summit, not a summit, it was like a one-day event where, because of my dealings with folks like that as well. And it was eye-opening. But I want to be, because people are going to be watching this show, Jay, and they're going to be like, this may string a chord for them. There's a reason why you brought it up. So let's put, once this goes live, once this goes recorded, we'll add the link to your information that you were suggesting, and we'll get that on here for anybody who is in that.
Okay, we can reference the ebook definitely, because they talk about it in there. But yeah, absolutely. And then, like I said, I'm just getting my info together to start doing a little series of videos and education for people that are having trouble, especially with the kids.
It's needed, Jay. It's needed.
Yeah, and like there's different types of people think that people commit suicide when they overdose on drugs, but they're not. Sometimes they're accidents. So it's to kind of set that aside, what happens to the soul in a case like that, because they think that they suffer and they don't essentially. So, not after they're gone, they don't, that's for sure,
Well, if there's anything at all that I can do to add value and support to your mission in that, I would be honored to assist you in any way, because mental health is something that I am really helping along in the sense of like awareness, promotion of fundraising, whatever it is that needs to be done, my little tiny drop in the pond. So whatever you need, you definitely can reach out, and we'll go from there, because it is something that I feel strongly about as well.
Oh, thank you. I really appreciate that. But I may take you up on that because we really need to get that info out there. We're in the middle of one of the worst health crises that we'll ever face in our lifetimes.
Mhm.
And the thing is, people are afraid to die. People are having fear about, the unknown, and it's to make them feel comfortable, to give them some kind of hope that, everything's going to be okay in a sense. I mean, not everything's going to be okay, and we know that, but we have to make the best of what we have right now and support each other rather than be fearful and cut each other up. But thank you so much for your support, Amber. It means the world to me, but I definitely plan on putting out a little bit more on the subject, because it's really 97 letters since March, guys. Like,
That's insane. That's not good. And I would love to support you as well, just for the record.
Thank
So,
you.
feel free to tap into anything I can give you as
Oh
well.
my goodness,
We
thank
should
you.
collaborate on that for sure, because I agree. That's way too many letters for you to have received.
I mean,
But
I
I'm
had
not
to
surprised.
talk to somebody about that because I mean, I'm not trained in this way, but the
Yeah.
thing is, I want to help people. And what if I say the wrong things? So I've had to reach out to these organizations because the last thing I want to do is hinder a life,
I know.
or make somebody's life a little bit more miserable from the things that I've told them.
It won't happen, Jay. It's not possible. You're getting, they're reaching you. And this is what my team told me. They're reaching out to you because you know the exact words to say to support and help that soul. So trust, Liz. Trust is what I kept getting. Trust that you're being guided to support these souls. So I want you to know that.
Thank you. Thank you. I so appreciate that because I think it's part of what I need to do too. But yeah, definitely going to address it some way or another. And like I say, it's not, it's just I've seen too much of it. I worked on a suicide hotline when I was younger. And then I worked in policing. And so I've had to, experience these things firsthand myself. So it's not easy when you see the trauma around that. And so the thing is, if I can avoid that for just one family,
Yeah.
yeah. That's all my goal is just to help. But I think that's amazing. Thank you, Liz. You guys are so awesome.
You're awesome. And you know what? I am so blessed that we've crossed paths, and whatever comes for us, we were going to be able to collaborate, all three of us, and move forward. So that'll be exciting. And, everybody is going to have the opportunity to get a ticket, join our Spiritual Excellence Halo Awards on October the 3rd, where you will be doing a live psychic medium messaging show to the people in attendance. And so you will, you're going to be able to be drawn intuitively, right? So if somebody has purchased a ticket to see all of the speakers, the featured speakers that we have, and to listen to their beautiful education on spiritual topics, and then they're tuning into you, you're just going to be drawn, right? Like you just go and you see and you feel drawn, and so they might get picked for a reading.
I'm excited about that because I do that just randomly. I go look at people and it's like, oh my God, I got to tell her something, So I pick that person and it's like, oh my God, I got to go tell her something. But the minute I see like a face, I feel things, you know what I mean? And so it comes right away. And I just, oh my God, which July? That's the day my mother, oh my God, I have to talk to you, So I get really, really excited. It's like, you're going to have to kick me off after an hour.
I know, because that's the thing. So we have an hour allocated for you, and already, so this event has already sold out twice. Just saying, it's already sold out twice from all these beautiful souls that are providing some value to what people want to hear. And so I've opened up more tickets and more tickets. And what I keep hearing is, That's it. We only get an hour with Jay. That's it. Like, because it goes so fast, just
It
like
does.
that, right?
It does. I do my 2 hour events and I stay an extra half hour and people just love it. And I tell people, if you want to leave, no, we want to listen to everything. But it's like, I feel like I'm not done, you know? So yeah, you're going to have to say, hey, Jay, get off now.
Oh, well, it's going to be beautiful. And I have no doubt in the world that the people who are supposed to be in attendance will be there.
Yeah.
And the beauty of it is because it's virtual this year, it's going to be recorded. So the people that, you know, might have missed something or didn't know it was about them, they can listen to it again. If they've purchased their ticket, they can keep that link. So at least they'll be able
to. A lot of people want to because they want to share with their families these readings. And
yes.
the live events that I do, I record them like that online, and everybody asks me for a video. Oh my God, I have to share this with my sister. I have to share it with my husband.
Because,
So,
you know, as you guys know, it is overwhelming when you get put on the spot about, holy, they're talking about me to me, my person came through. You're all of a sudden in amnesia, like shock, like you're in headlights. And then you don't remember everything that was said, or as we mentioned before, it might not actually have happened to you yet. It might be coming up in the days to come. So it's really great to have a recording. So I'm just blessed you guys are coming. You're going to be there, and both of you.
Well, I'm going to be the bad guy here, and I'm going to wrap up our show, unfortunately, because we're at that time, girls. That's
yes,
what we're
already.
talking about. We're at that time where it just like flies by, and it's no fearsies, but we do have to wrap things up. So thank you so much, Jay. You've been amazing, and you are amazing, and we love you.
Oh, well, I love you guys too. Thank you so much for having me on today. It's really an honor to see both of you today.
Yes, you too.
Thank you for making my afternoon. And I'm looking forward to October 3rd, 5th, 16th, and 17th. It's going to be awesome.
Us too. And okay, so listeners, viewers, we will post all of Jay's info in the link once it's on YouTube, The Insiders with Liz and Amber, and you will be able to have all of that. And we'll post it in this live feed comment box as well. So thank you, everybody.
Bye, everyone.
Thank you. Bye.